What's up, EXPs? How y'all doing tonight? It is J and T, and we're coming to you guys live from LA. We're gonna do a very special discussion tonight. This question was posed by Keisha Boyles. I talked to her last week when I did my little EXP roll call, and she was so nice enough to join us during my video, and she discussed the different guidelines and the different roles and how EXPs may not really understand, those different roles and what it takes to go in and execute an event and what their roles as EXPs are, brand ambassador, team lead, mascot, tour manager, assistant tour manager, etc. So I promised her during that video, that T and I would do a very special video to shed light on our perspective, on our insight as seasoned tour managers, and what is required, at each position, and how you should play your role when you're executing an event as an EXP. So thank you, Keisha, for sharing your thoughts. I listened, I took heed, and not only will we be doing this video tonight, but I also created a blog for everybody to take advantage of and to read, and I provided a free checklist with some guidelines in there as well. So definitely, if you haven't already, provide me with your email address. Just send it to me, personal message, and I'll add you to my subscription with my different emails that I send to the EXPs on different resources and insight that I share as well. Couple things, EXPs, definitely share your thoughts, share your knowledge, your insight on the topics that we discussed tonight in the comments. If you guys want to be binged into the discussion, just let me know. Just, shout out Bing in the comments, or Bing me in, or I want to talk, and I'll definitely add you guys to the conversation to share your thoughts and insight on this topic as well. But thank you guys all for tuning in. Let me know where you guys are, if you're on tour, if you're in market, executing an event, if you're serving as a tour manager, what roles and positions have you served as an EXP, and what are some things that you feel are essential for EXPs to take heed of and to implement when they're on site. So my assistant, my tour partner, my hubby, T, is here. And let's just start the discussion, just talking from the strength of being tour managers and working with different clients and account managers.
Well, from my experience working with being a tour manager, working and dealing with clients, it's always like a chain of command, different messages that always been sent down. So you always work from the client perspective, sometimes directly from the client to you, or from the client to the agency, then to you as a tour manager on site. As to actually when the event is live, some things they probably want to change on the fly right then and there. So you just have to be aware of that it's a lot of messaging that's going around, especially if you have a live event and it's a big event that you're at. So a lot of time as a brand ambassador, you don't understand what's going on behind the scenes or what's being told. So you just have to be aware of that too as well. Mm-hmm. And
just so you guys could get it in perspective, like Tia and I are currently on a tour. We're serving as tour managers. As tour managers, we have a responsibility to execute our tour and execute different events, but we also have to report to an account manager with the agency that we're working for. Shouts out to ALLL Marketing. And then that agency and that account manager has clients that they have to report to as well. Now, the client has an expectation, they have goals, they have metrics, they have benchmarks that they're going to be judging our tour, judging our success, judging our roles and responsibilities, and how successfully we are able to execute our positions, as tour managers. And as tour managers, we have account managers that come on site. We have how many BAs? Six?
A little bit close to, well, total is 6 BAs, but with the production team, we're looking at about a total like 10 staff members on site.
At every event, new staff members. So it's myself, T. We have a production manager that works with us as well, that helps to do the setup of our event. We also have 4 to 5 labor staff that come in and assist us with the setup of our footprint And then we have 6 to 10 brand ambassadors that are bought in to help actually execute the event and provide consumers, in our case, students at universities with a great experience, and to talk about the key talking points of a particular brand, and also, convey adequate information and engage with consumers. So we're managing a lot of moving parts. We have on-site contacts. We do site checks, at least 24-hour physical site checks, 24 hours prior to the event to make sure that the venue can accommodate our footprint. We also have to ensure that we have product either delivered to us or picked up at a warehouse. So as a tour manager, these are just some of the roles and responsibilities that we go through, and there's a lot of moving parts and a lot of moving, elements that you have to take into account.
It's responsibilities that you have to take on, but not just manage the event itself. So it's a lot of behind the scenes that that you don't see. That a lot of, I guess, if you were a brand ambassador, a local brand ambassador, you probably don't understand that aspect of it.
Mm-hmm. So the brand ambassadors, as we stated before, we travel up and down the West Coast, and the brand ambassadors are bought in for each event. So I'm responsible for training the brand ambassadors, providing them with key talking points, and making sure that they're abreast on their roles and responsibilities. Now, Keisha expressed the fact that, she works as a brand ambassador, team lead, and manager full time, and the fact that a lot of times brand ambassadors come on site with a sense of entitlement, and they do not necessarily understand what goes into executing an event. And I just want to go over a couple things that you as a brand ambassador have to keep in mind when you are executing any type of program. First off, you have to make sure that you are on time and you are representing my 3 Ps. You're presentable, you're wearing the necessary attire, the uniform that was provided to you. Hopefully you received some event details prior to coming on site, and you learn the key talking points, and you have the right uniform. You're personable. You're going to be there to engage with consumers and bring that great experience. And you're professional. So a part of being professional is just making sure that you don't bring your personal drama to work, that you are there to do your job, that you understand the importance of having your cell phone off site, that you are able to stay at your assigned footprint or your space without having to take a bathroom break every 5 minutes and someone having to cover for you. And you about to say something.
No, at the end of the day, your responsibility is what you sign up to be as a brand ambassador. And as a brand ambassador, even for myself, when I do brand ambassador work, I stay in my position as a brand ambassador. Even though I probably come with tons of experience as far as being tour manager and the other aspects, I play my role and I play my position. So if I'm there to be a brand ambassador, I'm being a brand ambassador. I'm not being more. I'm not being less. I'm there to uphold my role. As far as even I always give you a view from a coach's standpoint, from Bill Belichick. Number one things he do to make them the Patriots a great team is they tell everybody to do your job. Mm-hmm. Shut up and just do your job. Don't say nothing. You play your position, do your job, and you can watch how successful the team can be. So anytime any role that I play, I make sure there I'm doing my job. So if I'm in the role of brand ambassador, I'm bringing that energy. I'm engaging with consumers. I'm just showing them a great time and just playing my role. Just do your role. Sometimes I guess what they were discussing about is that a lot of times brand ambassadors step out of their role and they want to manage the opportunity, or they want to be the team lead. Just play your position, do your position, what they ask of you. So even if your team lead or your tour manager or even a client that you may meet on site asks you to do something else other than what you would usually do there as a brand ambassador, just be a team player on it too as well. So I always say, anytime, any position, like sometimes being a brand ambassador, sometimes I don't want to wear a hat of a tour manager because I don't want that responsibility. I just want to there just enjoy the people, just engage with them, and just provide a great experience for them. So a lot of times I do go to do brand ambassador work. That's what I'm there for. I'm not to be there to be a tour manager. I'm playing my position.
And clients will come on site. Sometimes they will show up unnoticed and secret shop brand ambassadors or secret shop product specialists to make sure that they know the key brand talking points. And sometimes they'll announce themselves, and the team lead may let you know, hey, just to let you guys know, or the tour manager, just want to give you a heads up, the client will be on site today. So with that, you are expected to uphold your end as a EXP and fulfill your roles and responsibilities. And like T said, you know, and I'll convey this to my brand ambassadors as well. If the client's on site and they ask you to do something, their request trumps what I'm telling you to do at that particular time. Because at the end of the day, you have to make sure that the client is happy. And oftentimes account managers, great account managers, will be on site and serve as that liaison. So you don't have to worry about, you know, having to communicate with the client on a continuous basis and filter those issues. That account manager is usually brought on site at an event to help, you know, facilitate that and serve as that liaison to make sure that the brand ambassadors make the changes or fulfill their roles, or, you know, just handle any requests that the client may have.
And even also for as clients, sometimes their suggestions don't make any damn sense. I'm gonna be honest with you. They live because they've been in the office so much, they don't understand how to be a brand ambassador. Because sometimes the client help me say, "Oh, I'll be the brand ambassador," and they engage with the consumer. They're like, "Well, I'm not getting that same response that you got from a consumer." So I tell them, just chill, just sit back, and you just watch the show. But a lot of times their interaction, their perspective of a program, and then when they get out there and they see the difference, they be like, "Oh, it's totally different than what I projected or what we planned when we was creating this project." So a lot of times they do come on scene, they want to change things up, and you're like, this doesn't make any sense, and allow them to make that mistake and see that it doesn't make any sense. And if they want to continue the program that way or the event that way where it doesn't make sense, just do what you're supposed to do. At the end of the day, you're doing there, you're just keeping engaging with the consumers, and you're just doing it how they want it to be executed.
Because oftentimes, as T said, clients, they work in a corporate environment. They are the typical 9-to-5 person, and they may be doing an experiential marketing program for the first time. So they're looking at a concept on paper that an experiential marketing agency pitched to them that they actually decide to move forward with, and they see it on paper, and when they come on site to the activation, it may be something completely different or maybe off by a little bit. So they're not used to the hustle and bustle and the flow of being a tour manager, of having to adjust on the fly, of having to deal with on-site contacts, to train, to deal with a lot of moving parts at any given time. They just know when they come on site and they see something they don't like, they want it fixed ASAP. And it's your job, especially working as a tour manager, and if the account manager is there, to work with that account manager. Hopefully you guys have a great relationship. Yeah. Hey, Keisha. Hopefully you guys have a great relationship and you're able to work together to make sure that the client is happy. So that is...
And a lot of times that all the client is on site, regardless if the client is on site or not, I still execute it as if it's
the same.
As a tour manager, I'm speaking from a tour manager, as if I'm managing the show. So regardless if the client's there or not, we're still going to engage. We're still going to bring we're still going to do the responsibility that we're there to do, and we're going to have fun with it too as well. And when you're doing that, you only have to worry about if the client's on site or not. Because honestly, I don't give a damn if the client on site. Because at the end of the day, it's about the consumer. Make sure they're engaging. Make sure they're having a great time. They're learning product information. That they're really into the brand. So once the client sees that, a lot of times the client keep their feet up, and they just so amazed by how their event is turning out. Because at the end of the day, you're there doing your job, doing your position, and you don't even have to worry about the client. The client is just, they're just enjoying the time just as the consumer is. So
if you're doing what you're supposed to do already on your tour and executing your event, when the client comes, it's not going to be any change. It's not going to be any drop off, because you've already set the expectations. You already know what you're supposed to be doing, and you already have everything in place. Now, granted, no event is ever the same. You may have some challenges and things that you may have to work through, but the level of professionalism, the level of quality that you expect from your BAs, if you have a BA that's, that day bringing a sense of entitlement, or they act like they don't want to be there, they're being unprofessional, we will send you home. That's just how we roll.
Yeah.
So if you set those expectations initially for every event, and you are consistent with how you manage your programs, or even as a team lead, if you're, and this is very important because I work with team leads too, you have to be assertive as a team lead.
Mm-hmm.
You have to set parameters for your team. And as a tour manager, you have to communicate this initially. Because at the end of the day, like Martin is saying, you have to have an owner's mentality. You have to act as if this is your client, this is your experiential marketing campaign. What would you do if you were the client? How would you expect your team to act and to engage with consumers? And if you came out to the event site, what would you want to see? So that's the mindset you always have to have, especially as a tour manager. And if you come in with that expectation and that mindset, then you're able to communicate and convey that to any team leads and to any brand ambassadors that you'll be training. Because as a team lead, you work side by side with the tour manager or the assistant tour manager to make sure that the staff is up to par, that everybody's getting their breaks, that everybody is conveying the right product information. But just because you're a team lead doesn't mean you don't work. No, you fill in, you assist where needed. Yeah. If an EXP needs a break, you fill in, and you're expected to know the key talking points. And I train all the BAs. You got to learn every position, because at the end of the day, if someone has to go on break or someone has to leave, you may have to step into that role and that position. Like Martin said, someone is always watching, and you never know who's watching, giving positive or negative feedback. So it starts, they like to say it starts at the top with the client, but I'm a firm believer that it starts with us in the field.
That's true, because we, at the end of the day, it doesn't really start with the client, because we're the one who's interacting with the client. The program was set up by them, but at the end of the day, to really engage with the consumer, get them the best results, it starts with us, those one in the field, to ensuring that the consumer are understanding the product or whatever you're promoting and engaging with consumers with. So just knowing your talking, again, Jay said, knowing your talking points and just creating a great experience for the consumer. That's the overall objective too as well, and make sure you're getting that brand information plugged into the brains. But also just making sure, again, just make sure that you're just there for in a team setting. Mm-hmm. Some of you guys, some of the brand ambassadors, if a team lead or a staff member asks you to step in another role or move to another area of a footprint, some of you guys talk bad, or you give them an excuse of why you should have been, or you give them an attitude. No, just be a team player and move to another position. Just make it easy for everyone to just work together as a team. Mm-hmm. Now, for us, we have opportunities that we have had the opportunity to staff for events and help set up programs too behind the scenes. And honestly, I tell any of my team members, my event manager who work up under us, I just let them know if any brand ambassador should give you any type of issue far as they feel entitled, or they don't want to move, or they don't work as a team, let them go. That's why you have backup brand ambassadors. I'm not scared to let you go, because at the end of the day, there's someone who's willing to come in there and do their job and do it responsibly. So at the end of the day, if you're not willing to be a team player and work in a team setting, I don't think that you'll working with us or even as a brand working within the industry, because a lot of it has to do with you first of all, just playing your position, and also working in the team setting too with everyone.
Mm-hmm. So just to run down a little bit, as a tour manager, you have to set expectations for your team. You have to be open to constructive criticism. You know, one thing we do is we have a powwow with our teams prior to the event. We train, we set expectations for the team. We also talk with the team leads, having that great rapport with them, making sure that they're good on breaks, making sure that they're able to come to you and feel open, communicating and identifying any brand ambassadors that may be an issue is important. And knowing as a team lead, you have to be assertive, and you have to be willing and able to make the hard decisions and work with that assistant tour manager to do so. As a brand ambassador, as a product specialist, if you're just bought in for a one-off event, you are expected to perform your duties as contracted, whether that's convey product information, engage with consumers, help with registration, help with labor if that's what you have been contracted to do. If the tour manager asks you to just help with a simple setup or something, something small, help that tour manager or team lead out. You are there to assist where needed. I'm not saying step out of your bounds and just do all of this stuff that you were not contracted to do, but be a team player and help out. Do not approach clients in an unprofessional way, talking about your business or the fact that you want to become a tour manager and you want to see how you can get in with their client in A, B, C, and D. That's not the time to do that. Also, with account managers that may come on site, taking the time, and I call it brown nosing, but just trying to, put your bid in. There's a time and place for that. And if you work hard enough, trust me, the opportunities will be presented to you. But doing so in an unprofessional way when you're supposed to be engaging with consumers as a brand ambassador, product specialist, is frowned upon.
And let me just say this. A lot of times you don't even realize that your work is your application.
Mm-hmm.
Your work is your interview. So it's been a lot of times where we just been doing our work as we was not even tour managers. We were just working as product specialists, and we were approached with opportunities. Mm-hmm. So a lot of times, a lot of you guys think, oh, I have to go talk to the client. Oh, I have to go talk to the account managers. Just do your job and watch the opportunities open up. Mm-hmm. Again, we was in product specialist. At the time we was doing some product specialist work, not even looking for a tour opportunity. And someone just approached us and said, "Hey, I love how you just presented that to me. Are you interested in so and so A, B, and C and D?" And I told her, actually, I do. We actually work as tours, do tours and all that. And boom, opportunity was presented itself. So again, if you play your position, you play your role, you go shine. So no one can stop your shine. So also remember this too. Working as a brand ambassador, it's the difference between working as a brand ambassador and as a tour manager. As a brand ambassador, remember, you're just doing the sprint. The tour manager is doing the marathon. Mm-hmm. Meaning by that you're just there just doing one event, probably from the minimum of 4 hours to possibly 12 hours or 14 hours, how long ever the event may be. Mm-hmm. Remember, you're just doing that sprint. The tour managers and the production managers and assistant managers, they're doing a whole marathon. That means they're doing the 3 to 6 months or 9 months the program may be projected may be. So just remember that too as well. So you just run the sprint and you're just doing a one-day event and you don't have to worry about it. Just one day you get to see my face and they go on to the next one, or how long the event may be, the couple of days, just deal with it and then just go on to the next event. So that's a little thing. That's the only thing I have to say for that.
And T brought up a good point too. Don't step out of your roles and responsibilities as a brand ambassador. If you were hired to work as a brand ambassador, stay within those roles unless the tour manager or the team lead comes to you and asks you to fill in and assist in somewhere else. But allow those managers to do their job. You are not there to micromanage them. Like T said, we work as brand ambassadors all the time. And for me, it's good when I can just come on site, be a brand ambassador, and go home. But I do, and even when we go to restaurants, we always thinking like managers. How many of my managers think like that? Like, you might be a brand ambassador, but you already like coming on site, seeing what you would do different and how the event should run. But the difference is I don't say anything because I know and I play my role, and I understand that tour manager may be going through a lot of stuff or jump through a lot of hoops that morning just to get the footprint set up. So you are not there to micromanage and to try to tell a manager or an assistant tour manager or a team lead how to do their job, how the break should be, how this brand ambassador is acting, what he or she may be doing. Play your role, and everything else will roll out, will fall how it's supposed to be, but allow them to do their jobs. So let's take some comments. Rebecca Silk, I went from brand ambassador, team lead, field coordinator, manager, and then got hired on the agency side to be part of creating the ideas. Yay, Rebecca!
See, but
it was a blessing, fun. You have to respect and be professional.
But obviously she played her role because she said she started from a brand ambassador and then she moved her way up there. And again, she playing her role, doing her position. And again, you go shine regardless, so no one can stop your shine. Just play your role. Mm-hmm.
And you guys have any questions, drop them in the comments too. Keisha, I'm a product of my work ethic being my application as well. Good work brings good opportunities. That's true. Martin said, amen. Rebecca said, hard work pays off in the industry. It will lead to more and bigger opportunities. And let's see. Someone asked what tour and brand we're working. So we are doing the Amazon Prime one-on-one tour, and it's with Amazon.
Yeah, we're the West Coast.
We're the West Coast team. So.
There's a Midwest team and also the East Coast team, but we're the West Coast teams. We can enjoy the California weather. Mm-hmm. But so what's the next?
So that's pretty much it. I think I did want to talk about if you encounter any issues. So if you encounter issues on site as a brand ambassador, the thing you don't want to do is get ratchet, get unprofessional, and just talk about those issues in front of consumers. Or as a brand ambassador, you may encounter some issues with unprofessional consumers. It has happened to me. And I've had to filter those issues while remaining professional. One rule of thumb I always advocate is go talk to your tour manager or your team lead and let them know the issues that you may be having with a consumer so that they can step in and deal with that consumer appropriately. So how do you feel like dealing with consumers that are unprofessional?
Well, unprofessional consumers, I always know how to just, when it happens, I can't tell you how to handle it because everybody handles their situation differently, and you don't know what the comment was made or what action occurred and how to handle it. But I always handle it with laughter and just kind of ignore them or make a smart, funny comment that kind of like shuts them down. So but if it's where that it needs to be a manager or something needs to take action on it, I will go ahead and inform the manager on site. Or if I'm the manager on it, I will go ahead and take action and handle the problem or situation. So that's another thing. If you're a brand ambassador and something should occur, or you have a bad experience with a consumer, or you just don't feel comfortable, or just say if you're a product specialist, you don't even feel comfortable getting in that vehicle with someone or showing them a certain area of an event area, then I suggest that you just handle that with your on-site tour manager or manager on duty and inform them of what has occurred or what potentially can occur. So you always want to keep your eyes on that too as well.
Mm-hmm. And Martin said, as a BA, when reporting, always stay to the facts, never evolve your emotions.
Yeah. I don't get emotionally involved. I mean, I've had some, I've had racist comments thrown at me. Mm-hmm. I've had
obscenities
said at me before. It's funny.
Not to y'all, but yeah, y'all get it.
I have obscenities said to me. Everything in the book has been done, man. Even being sexually assaulted by women. I had a drunk lady from my last tour. I had a drunk lady just come up and just kiss me on my neck.
She better be glad I wasn't there.
So these are the things that occur, and you just have to be professional in how you react to it. I even have emergency situations where on our past tour, man, we was at grocery stores and we had a couple of elderly people just pass out. They weren't even at our location. They were just going in and out of the store, and they just different locations. We just had elderly people passing out, and I had to go and just provide aid to them and call paramedics. So those are the obstacles that you may face while in the field, but just always being professional in how you handle the situation. And like
Amberlyn Kimball said, people get angry over free stuff and they kids, as we saw with a tour we did with Paw Patrol. The worst comes out of people, especially when you giving away something free or it's something involving their kids. I mean,
yeah, it's
the way people act.
It wonders how they react to that and how they act. Consumers does, and showing that the behavior of some of the consumers out there when you at these events. So, but you just remain professional, and again, you are an application. You are extension of yourself. When I mean by application, you're applying for that next position because somebody's always watching. You're applying for that next position. You're interviewing for that next position because somebody's always watching, and you're also opening up doors for that next position. So just be mindful that in any position that you hold, that's what you're doing. That's what the reflection of yourself.
Mm-hmm. So before we wrap up, let's read some of these comments. Amberlyn said, just imagine how upset these people were when we cut the lines off of free balloons at Monster Jam. Monster Jam? Okay, Emily, that's crazy. Martin said, I got to go, but much respect and love to y'all. Thank you, Martin. And Rebecca said, you will come across consumers who do not want to listen to you or make a negative remark.
Yeah.
Yes. If it's small, if it is small, meaning they said no rudely, then don't react big. Just say thank you for your time. However, if you have someone harass you, you then tell your team lead, manager, or even agency. That's true. However, do not let it tear you down because you were hired for a reason. I see a potential in every person I hire. It will happen. Just don't overreact. That's true.
And that's number one thing. Don't overreact. It's just something small, and sometimes I remember even once before, even working as a product specialist, we had consumers that was telling us very negative, making negative comments about this particular automotive brand they was working for at the time, and they really want their message to be heard. But I'm not the one. I relay the message far as in a recap, but far as the message is not going to get to the designer or to the engineering department right away from you expressing your feelings towards me. I'm just tell you I would just relay the message, and I just keep it the tone like that. But yeah, you face those consumers again, especially working in the automotive product, especially industry, that feel like they need to their word or they're venting about the vehicle, and they need to be heard about it, and it needs to be done immediately. But unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. And you do have those feisty people like that. So,
but as a tour manager, that's why event recaps are important. That's why it's important that you detail everything in the event recap, from what consumer said to your issues, on site, to a brand ambassador that you probably would or wouldn't hire again. So that is your opportunity, especially as a tour manager and even as a team lead, to take the time to put everything in writing in an event recap, and that gets filtered to the account manager and ultimately to the client. So don't hold back in your event recaps. Be honest, provide open, honest feedback, and make sure that you convey, both the negative, but also shine light on the positive. I'm all for both. This doesn't have to be a negative Nancy all the time. Talk about the good brand ambassadors you had, or the great experience a consumer may have had with a particular product specialist. Make sure you shine on the positive just as much as you are willing to talk about the negative as well. So you got to highlight those two things. But before we go, I just want to touch on the effect that as a manager and even as a leader, you have to be open to constructive criticism. T and I, Amberlyn said, if you do have to say a negative comment, follow it up with a positive one. And that's good advice. Thanks, Amberlyn, for sharing. But we are not perfect. Every day, even as managers executing tours for years, we learn something new, or we find out a new way of how to redo something, or make our program or our position or a task that we may have or may be going through better. We're always looking for ways to be more efficient, because we believe in working smarter, not harder. But as a manager, sometimes we can get into a power struggle and feel like, we know it all, and we don't need constructive criticism from our team or from an account manager or a client on how to do our job. And we're here to tell you, you have to be open to constructive criticism. You may not like it all the time, but it's important that you allow your team to have the opportunity to convey how they felt you managed the program, and this could be your local brand ambassadors or team leads, and what improvements that you can make going into the next market, or to the next event that you may manage, or the next program that you may work as a team lead. So don't be afraid of constructive criticism, because it's going to make you better. And brand ambassadors, if a manager, a team lead, or a tour manager is telling you something, don't take it personal, especially if it's something negative or something that they feel that you need to improve on. Just listen, with open ears, and understand where they're coming from, because they obviously telling you this for a reason. So be open to constructive criticism. That makes a great leader. Be willing to make changes and adapt at a moment's notice, especially when you're working as a tour manager. And at the end of the day, you are representing yourself. You are a brand within a brand, but you're also representing that agency and that client as well. So there's a lot of different people and a lot of different positions that everybody has to play for one event. I'm not talking about a whole tour, but just one event to be successful. And you're going to have some takeaways and some things that you're going to need to improve for the next event. But you got to be open as a leader, as a team lead. You got to listen. And from the brand ambassador level, you have to be willing and able to practice those 3 P's. Be presentable, be personal, and be professional. Because if you play your part, especially at the brand ambassador level, guess what? As a manager, I don't have to babysit you. And I don't have to walk around and make sure that you're doing your job. Because one thing Tia and I don't do, we don't micromanage people. Now, there are some that do, but we don't believe in micromanaging. So I'm going to read a couple more comments. I'm going to see if T got anything he want to add. And we're going to wrap this up. All right. Rebecca said, absolutely, more positive vibes than negative. The client knows there will be both, but if it goes well, more work is more jobs for everyone. And that's true. If you play your part, if you do what you're supposed to do, and ultimately the program or the event or the tour is successful, then guess what? Client retention will occur, and the event will go on. Looks like you have somebody that wants to join the talk. Let's see if I can get Bethany on. Bethany, I'm adding you in real quick. This is DSG corporate. Bethany from the DSG corporate. Oh, she declined. Okay, she declined. So never mind. I guess she didn't want to be on after all. But thank you for sharing your comments as well. But we about to head out and jump off of here. Definitely check out my latest blog. If you guys are not subscribed to receive my blogs, definitely send me a message and I'll add you to my list, or go to jdavis.media and subscribe yourself. And T and I will be tackling the question of agencies and talking about your experiences and, sharing our experiences with agencies. So stay tuned for that video. Coming soon. TBA, we haven't decided when we're going to do it yet. But thank you guys all for tuning in tonight, and enjoy the rest of your week. And remember, you are a brand within a brand, so represent yourself accordingly. Later.
Deuces.